this is what wokeness tends to be, right? Right now, they masquerade as opposing racism while supporting racial segregation. They say liberal when they're illiberal, and they oppose liberal policies and classical liberalism.
What's Antifa? They say they're against fascism. They're actually the fascists. But,
but here's the funny thing is, they always love it. It is a fair assessment, in my opinion, if you look at Antifa through a historical context by today, by what they do today, and say they're fascist. Antifa starts in Germany as the militant wing of the Communist Party. And so they go, duh, we're not fascist. But now you take a look at how they behave. There were a group of people outside of a hospital protesting mask mandates. Antifa activists came and started beating them up. So it's like, okay, if you want to claim to be a communist or opposing fascism, but you beat people up to enforce government mandated corporate activities, you're a fascist. Yeah. That's exactly what they are.
I just don't understand when these mayors and these governors in these states let them get away with it. I don't get it.
Because they're in on it.
At all. Yeah. Well, they have to be.
I mean, you've had politicians say that they're Antifa. Yeah. You had in the Andy No
Biden
trial.
said it was an idea.
Yeah, Nadler. I think that was, did Biden say it too? I know Nadler
He said it in the debate with Trump.
Wow.
He said, "Oh, it's an idea." Oh, okay.
Because it's decentralized, therefore you can't pinpoint a leader.
Yeah, burn down people's businesses and attack people.
But
that's an idea.
You can pinpoint leaders. They have active cells with brand names and brand websites, and the feds know, and the feds don't do anything. But hey, man, heaven forbid you stepped on the grass on January 6th, and then they're going to lock you up for 2 years.
Yeah, Biden's quote from that presidential debate in 2020 was, Antifa is an idea, not an organization. So I was going to agree that Antifa, it is an idea, but it's also an organization. But according to Biden, he just said it wasn't.
Well, that's why they like masks, because they cover their identity.
Yeah, they have chapters in merch stores. It's absolutely.
But the masks don't even matter. You can go to there's different chapters. And they will call themselves Brand Antifa, insert name. And you can go to their website and you can see the organizers.
What do they do for work?
Oh, a lot of these kids are rich.
Yeah.
You think so?
I know for a fact.
Wow.
Yeah, so especially during Occupy Wall Street, we didn't call them Antifa at the time. They were just called the Black Bloc Anarchists. And that was an unfair assessment. The anarchists got mad at us. They were like, those guys are not anarchists. Anarchists don't believe in violence. Anarchists, in the truest sense of left or right, believe in non-aggression. So the dudes wearing all black going and beating people are tankies. They're communists. And we're like, oh, okay, that's fair. But we didn't call them Antifa. Turns out a lot of these kids they're like Brooklynite trust fund kids.
Really?
They
hate
don't
their parents.
Yeah, they don't have to work. Yeah. How do you?
So they're angry because their parents made it in the capitalist system, and they become.
No. They're angry because. So it's an oversimplification that I believe is an emotional attack that conservatives will be like, oh, they resent, they got mommy or daddy issues. No, the reality is they've never dealt with hardship. So if you grow up in a world where you don't have to work because things are given to you, when you're older, you look around at people being hungry and you go, why aren't people giving them things like I was given things? The government should give them things.
Give them homes.
And this is why, I really, man, I see a lot of wealthy conservatives being like, my kid's never gonna know the hardship I knew. And I'm like, okay, well, they're gonna be a liberal then. Because they're gonna
look at Murdoch's kids, right?
Look
what they're doing at Fox.
And you're going to send them to the same 4-year colleges that will indoctrinate them in the same way. And
they start at kindergarten now, unfortunately.
But if you're lucky enough to keep it off them until they go to college, they then go to college and they end up in the exact same place because you don't want them to face down any of the hardships.
Yeah. These trust fund kids, especially the wealthier ones, and not necessarily all millionaires or anything, but coming from upper middle class families, even so they didn't have to work because they lived with their parents. Their attitude is, we have to protect the oppressed.
It's weaponized guilt.
And so what happens is when they don't want to be the evil oppressor because they come from wealthy upbringing, they turn into a racial issue. They can then say, oh yeah, you Ian, you're also an oppressor just like me because you're white. And it's like, you could be a homeless white dude and they would be like, doesn't matter, we're all oppressors. It's like, bro, your parents are millionaires. That homeless guy is a veteran who can't find work. Exactly. And you're claiming that he's at the same level of power that you do because they're trying to cover up the fact that they're rich and they want more power. But ultimately, what are they angry about? When you grow up never having to work, your brain does not comprehend where food comes from. Your brain doesn't comprehend that someone has to do labor to make it. And so in their minds, it's just like, you take a look at schools. A lot of these kids, they go to school from kindergarten all the way till they're 22 to 26. And when they get out of college at 26 years old, they've never had a job and they've been told how to do everything.